All right, today we're jumping back to the 1970s to look at a program that made a pretty wild promise, that it could teach anyone how to unlock the hidden, extraordinary powers of their own mind. This is the story of the Silva Mind Control Method. And this is the book that kicked it all off. Now get this, the Silva Mind Control Method was created by a guy with absolutely zero formal training in psychology, and yet it's been used by over 500,000 people. The core claim is that everyone, and I mean everyone, has a mind that can be trained to do things that, honestly, most of us would probably doubt is even possible. And that really brings us to the heart of it all, doesn't it? Can you actually train your brain to have what you might call superhuman abilities? That is the incredible central claim we're going to dive into today, pulling everything straight from the source material. Now, here's what makes this story so fascinating right from the start. This method didn't come out of some fancy university lab or a psychology clinic. Nope, it all started in a humble electronics shop with a radio repairman named José Silva. So, Silva was an expert in electronics, for sure. But his real passion, his true obsession, was the human mind. And that lifelong passion was actually sparked by a really frustrating, kind of weird encounter he had during World War II. So there he was, being inducted, and a psychiatrist asks him these two questions. Silva, who was already a father of 3, was just appalled. He thought to himself, why on earth would you ask such stupid questions? And that moment right there lit a fire in him. It started a 20-year quest, because he became convinced that he could learn more about the human mind than these so-called experts. And this was his very first research question. Now, you have to remember, at the time, the common belief was that your IQ was fixed from birth. That's it. But Silva dared to ask, could it be improved? Could you actually train someone to raise their IQ? This one simple question was about to lead him down a path he never could have expected. So Silva's huge breakthrough came when he mashed his two worlds together, his knowledge of electronics and his curiosity about the human brain. He spotted this fascinating parallel between the two, and that became the key to unlocking the mind's hidden potential. It all really came down to this simple but powerful analogy. From his work, Silva knew that in electronics, the best, most efficient circuit is the one with the least resistance. He had a hunch the brain worked the same way, that at lower brainwave frequencies, our minds actually become more powerful, more energetic, and better able to receive and store information. He called this state the alpha level. You know this feeling. It's that super relaxed state when you're daydreaming or just on the verge of falling asleep. The real challenge, though, wasn't just getting to that state. It was about getting there while staying completely conscious and in total control. And his technique for getting there was just brilliantly simple. As you can see here, all you do is this. Right when you wake up, you close your eyes, and then you look upward behind your eyelids at about a 20-degree angle. According to Silva, that simple physical action, all by itself, is enough to trigger your brain to start producing alpha waves. Okay, let's try a quick experiment. Right now, I want you to imagine you're holding a cold lemon. Really feel its weight, its waxy yellow skin. Now imagine smelling it, okay? Now you cut it in half and you bite down hard. So is your mouth watering? If it is, you've just experienced the core principle in action. As the book says, mere words and thoughts can create a very real physical reality. But this was never just about relaxation. The next big step was teaching people how to use this focused, creative alpha state to actively go out and solve real-world problems. Okay, listen to the story from the book. There's a city planner who's in total crisis mode. He's lost crucial blueprints for a major project. Instead of panicking, he just goes into his alpha state for 10 minutes. He comes out, totally calm, calls a restaurant he'd been to the week before, and sure enough, the drawings were right there. He managed to retrieve a memory his conscious mind just couldn't access. And it wasn't just for memory. An ad executive, who said it usually took him 2 months to cook up a new campaign, found that by using mind control, the basic ideas would just come to him in 20 minutes. People were also using it to change deeply ingrained personal habits. The book tells of a husband and wife who took the course together. She visualized herself being thin and healthy and lost 20 pounds. He used the exact same techniques to quit smoking for good. But maybe one of the most famous examples involves professional sports. 14 players from the Chicago White Sox baseball team took the course. The result? Every single one of them improved their individual averages. And not just by a little bit. For most of them, the improvement was dramatic. So what's the secret sauce? Well, according to Silva, the success of all these techniques comes down to 3 fundamental laws. You have to truly desire the outcome. You have to believe that it is possible. And finally, you have to actively expect it to happen. That third step, expectancy, is really the key that makes the whole thing work. But this is where the story takes a turn that not even Silva himself could have predicted. While he was experimenting with these learning techniques on his own kids, he stumbled upon a discovery so shocking it completely changed the direction of his work forever. It was 1953. He's doing a totally routine quiz session with his daughter while she's in her alpha state. He'd ask a question, she would answer. He would then form the next question in his mind before saying it out loud. But on this one particular night, something completely different happened. She started answering the questions before he asked them. Over and over, she answered the question that was only in his thoughts. She was, as the book puts it, reading his mind. And that was the moment everything changed. Suddenly, this was about more than just learning faster. It was about extrasensory perception, ESP, the idea that the mind could perceive things far beyond the five senses. This accidental discovery completely transformed Silva's research. What had started as a little experiment to improve IQ and memory, it just exploded, evolving into a full-fledged mind training program that became a worldwide movement. And I do mean worldwide. Eventually, the 48-hour course was taken by 500,000 people. The book actually frames these graduates as 500,000 individual experiments, a level of repeatability that, it argues, no open-minded scientist could possibly ignore. And it even caught the eye of the psychiatric community. A Dr. Clancy McKenzie ran a 4.5-year study with 189 of his own psychiatric patients who took the course. And his conclusion? He said the course was not only safe but immensely useful, and that his patients showed consistent improvement and really dramatic positive changes. So we end up right back where we started. The central claim here is that these abilities aren't special gifts for a few people. They're supposedly inherent in all of us, just waiting to be awakened. Which leaves us all with one final thought, doesn't it? What potential truly lies untapped in your own mind?